So let's talk about Ezra's specific journey for a second, because I want you to see why it's such a big deal. First, the journey was long. This isn't a short trip. The total distance they're about to go is 900 miles on foot, because they had to go north along the river to secure a water supply. They couldn't take the shortest, most direct route. Second, the route was really dangerous. There's going to be a lot of robbers and looters along the route who would seek to attack them. Ezra and his people will bring a considerable amount of gold and silver with them for the temple. In fact, we read this in 8:26. Ezra says, I weighed out into their hand 650 talents of silver, and the silver vessels worth 200 talents, and 100 talents of gold. Now that was just one verse. There's a whole lot more he brings. But to put it in perspective, 1 talent is equal to 66 pounds. So in this one verse, you read that they are carrying on this journey 6,600 pounds of gold. Now, I'm no financial expert, although I keep hearing I should invest in gold, but it seems like that's a lot of gold. And if you were carrying that much precious metals, wouldn't it be nice to have an armed escort from the king? After all, he seems to be granting all your requests. Just go and ask him. But Ezra doesn't do that, which seems kind of odd. After counting the costs for the journey, Ezra says this. He says, for I was ashamed to ask the king for a band of soldiers and horsemen to protect us against the enemy on our way. Since we told the king, the hand of our God is for good on all who seek him, and the power of his wrath is against all who forsake him. Wow. Now, just to summarize, Ezra's leading 5,000 people, including women and children, on a dangerous 900-mile trip on foot, and they're going to be carrying thousands of pounds of silver and gold under the threat of ambush. And Ezra says, I'm a little afraid to ask the king for help because I think I told him God would protect us. Now, that decision likely produces some mixed emotions in the audience because the passage raises an important question. How do you balance faith and discernment? How do you balance faith and discernment, right? Right. The question in this scene exposes, I think, some personality types. Because some of you out there are really big faith people, right? You're people who say, Ezra has it right. Just have faith that God will protect you. All you people who over-prep and plan, where is your faith? Others of us think Ezra's crazy, right? Just ask for the escort, Ezra. Swallow your pride. You're being foolish. Now, what's interesting is if you skip ahead to Nehemiah chapter 2, Nehemiah, when he brings people, asks for an escort. So all my preppers and planners out there say, that's right, Nehemiah is the wise one. He's the spiritual leader. So let's take a poll. Who's out there on Team Ezra? Who's the people of big faith? All right, a couple hands. All right, all on the right side. Very interesting. All right, who's on Team Nehemiah, right? You're the prepper planner. On the left side. That's pretty amazing how that broke down right there. That's right. My preppers and planners. Now, I'll bet there's one person of each in every marriage out there. My point is, again, how do you balance faith and discernment? How do you trust the Hag, the hand of God? Was Ezra wrong? Was Nehemiah wrong? Well, the question gets to the heart of God's providential work in the world, because I believe God works providentially in different ways. Was Ezra wrong? No. He's trusting in God's, let's just call it, supernatural providence. Because sometimes God may be calling you to trust him, and it doesn't make sense to anybody else. I'll give you an illustration. I had a friend who used to take mission trips to China and smuggle in Bibles. And because you weren't supposed to do that in China. If you were caught, you'd probably have some consequences or at least be sent back to the U.S. And while they made some preparations, they had to trust at some level that God was going to supernaturally allow them to pass. And he had several stories of God allowing them through. I mean, have you ever had a moment where God providentially guided you around danger? He supernaturally intervened. Because sometimes God's simply calling you to step out in faith and trust that he's going to protect. Was Nehemiah wrong? No, I think he was also trusting God, but let's just say he was trusting God in more mundane providence. God supplied protection for Nehemiah because he had an escort from the king. Both can be true, and both can be the hand of God. So what's true in your situation? Again, the point is, are you trusting the hand of God? So here's how it works out.